The Life Finder keeps Maiev up. It was going to be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of, no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal, though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Hello everybody, welcome to the stream. I'm going to be doing a couple replay casts this afternoon. I won't be able to do any casts this evening as I have a matchup kind of in the middle of everything, so it's not going to work out for me to be able to get any done. Plus, I should always get practice in before we start any type of matchup, so unfortunately I won't be able to cover any of the missing ones this evening, especially since one of those games is mine. But since that's the case, I've got some time this afternoon, so I figured I might as well get a couple of the replay casts out of the way so we're nice and caught up. And that way, if I can get them done this weekend, which I am feeling at least a bit better, I should be able to. And it won't be like 6 or 8 or 10 ridiculous amounts of matches or something like that on a Saturday. So, without further ado, the first matchup that we're going to have is going to be Painfully Average versus ProBus. And again, like most replay casts, unless I reach out with the guys at the beginning or something like that, I generally don't have any knowledge on who picked what map, what maps were banned, or you know, and that kind of stuff like that. So all we're going to be able to tell is that we are going to Battlefield of Eternity for the first match. And without further ado, we'll get into the game. I'm kind of holding out to see if someone responds to my thing. It's Control-Shift-O. Okay, perfect. And thank you, Enos, for that. I appreciate you. A wonderful member of the community. He's helped me a lot in my early days of casting and still has plenty of advice to help us out whenever we need it on the streams. Much appreciated. And like I said, without further ado, let's kind of get into the game. Won't be a draft screen, so we're just gonna pop it right to that. All right, now we are zoomed out. Make sure that it's showing up on my screen properly. Perfect. So let's press play. And here we go. So game number 1 on the side of Painfully Average. We have Secret Asian Man on the Li Ming, Sage on the Imperious, Hung Fu on the Lili, Aruba playing Hanzo, and Dragon 478 on the Johanna. And on the side of ProBus, we have Willios playing Orphea, Gingermancer on the Rainer, Desmerd playing the Uther, Lord Gold on the ETC, and Hufflepuffin playing the Diva. And we're going to see an interesting bit of lane priority here. We're going to put Diva in the bot lane, and we're going to be putting Rainer in the top lane, it looks like. Although they might be rearranging that idea. I don't know if he's searching for something. Let's follow this man and see how it goes. Meanwhile, on the bottom, here, let's pause for a second. I don't think I'm hearing any game sound. And that's probably because I turned it all off. Alrighty. That should solve that problem there, guys. Oh. And let me guess, I also don't have this set to my speakers. Alrighty. Now we're good. Game sound, it's all good. We're all here. Hello, Weenus. Thank you for the 69 bits, my friend, again, and appreciate the help from earlier. Just so they don't spoil any more of these games, although that was up for a short period of time. Anyways, we're going to see the opening handshake going out, and it looks like to be pretty even. Both teams trading out health bars is tends to be normal when you're 4v4 constantly in a lane. You're going to see quite a bit of brawling, a bit of poking, people just kind of jockeying for position on the wave. But really, the wave clear is secondary to just seeing if you can poke out, get a quick kill, you know, find a small advantage in the early game if they can. Generally, the team that gets the first kill here can often make the first rotation to getting this camp, assuming they have good campers in. And now it looks like with slight advantage there coming out from Painfully Average in this fight. I watched a game from Painfully Average a little while ago. They were playing against Censored, which unfortunately has now withdrawn from the league. And they were looking good. They had a rough start to the season, but that definitely was one of the first games I saw them coming together as a team. And this is the thing. And I hope teams try to get across. And it looks like Rainer and ETC, there was a rotation. I did not see the ETC make that rotation to the top lane. And that's going to get a pick off in the upper lane, Imperius. So this camp is going to go to Painfully Average, but the kill is definitely going to go to the side. No, man, you're a much better person than I. Anyways, the camp did go, but with that pick in the top lane, that's going to give them an experience advantage as they missed about a wave, maybe a wave and a half of soak up in the top lane. I guess it wasn't that much. I think they actually caught the ass end of the wave. So, but look at this invasion coming out from ProBus, making sure they're getting onto the enemy side of the map. See if they can steal this early camp. A bit risky maneuver, but looks like it might be working out for them. Desmer gets pretty low, and so does Lord of Golden. Unfortunately, without Hufflepuff in there, it was a 5v4 defense, and that does go to the side of Painfully Average. And kind of in that exchange, since no one is soaking and their own camp wasn't taken, I would say it was a slight advantage to Painfully Average because they get the first clear. That means they're also going to get first dibs on the burn. As this camp is going to take a little while to clear up, but they did clear it up fast. But no, see, the backs here are actually going to be the big problem. And that's just going to be pretty much a free 50% there for the side of Painfully Average, a huge advantage to start things off. Yeah, I think this is straight up 50%, although they might get a kill onto D.Va as the Mecha's already been pulled out, and a nice little stab from Imperius gets the kill, and that's going to be a 1-for-0 trade, and they might be able to get Willios here. He's trying to back out, but Hong Fu taking a bunch of damage, but they do get the return and get the kill on Rainer instead, so that's going to be 2 kills for Painfully Average, and that's going to allow them to start poking this out. In fact, they're going to just we do see ETC escorting this in, which is a good play. They don't have a whole lot of plays. I'm not entirely certain what Painfully Average is trying to accomplish here, but Hanzo is actually going to get picked off. He's a 78 health. I really would have liked to see D.Va continue on that. As with the Hanzo dead, there wasn't a lot of return damage that was going to come in. Imperius is top thing now, clearing out the top lane. A little bit of poke coming out from ProBus. They're trying to get at least a little bit of that shield down, but I think this is going to be... I mean, they're doing a pretty good job. All we really have here is Li Ming. She does get the poke down, so still about a 75% shield on that Immortal, and that's a pretty big win there. Side of Painfully Average. It is still an early game Immortal, but it's a big shield, so a lot of times when you see big shield early game Immortals like this, they can be somewhat hard to take down before the first fort has disappeared, and that gives you a pretty significant advantage in the early game, and we can see the experience actually in Painfully Average's favor here. So we're going to be pushed up. After the next lull, I'll talk a little bit about talent, so I'll pop up the damage numbers so people keep an eye on what's been going on in the game for the most part, as well as maybe some of the XP totals. And Imperius doing a really good job making sure that he's soaking. It's not a super soaky heavy map, but the fact that it's almost double the nearest amount is actually quite significant. And as we saw, the front wall is gone. Half the health on this Immortal is still up. Desmer getting down super low. He's got no mana, no cooldowns left over, and if that orb connected, that was a dead Uther. And I think they might save the fort. I think they might just save the fort. That bomb did not go in the direction that I think D.Va was wanting it to go. So just taking a quick look at talents. Things I find interesting here is that we don't... Despite having significant slow procs from things like ETZ, from Orpheo, we don't get Ace in the Hole from Uther, nor do we get Exterminator, which is something that I commonly see on this map, especially in a bit lower divisions. And instead, we're going to see the Veteran Marksman into sustaining rounds into Feel the Rush. I mean, this is a build that has been showcased by several community members, including Not Paradox on his stream. And, you know, I think is an okay, like, if you're just a personal... If you don't want to rely on anyone else for your damage, this can be an okay thing. And when you build this up high enough, it can be significantly good against, you know, in team fights. Orpheus down here by herself into a 5-man engagement, is trying to get out of the way, but Imperius does get the tip of the spear. But the follow-up damage is close enough to the towers that she's able to get around that edge and does not give up a kill here. Looking at the other side, Zay's Vengeance with a standard Aether Walker into Dominance, which is a little odd. But just wanting those reset orbs. Diva Mech does go down, does pop the bomb to see if they can get a little bit of damage here, but again, the positioning just a little bit off with those Diva bombs. Diva can be a very impactful hero in a lot of situations, but I do think that some of these 2 bombs so far that we've seen out of her have really not been able to net the value that you'd like to see from that. We got full W builds coming up from Hanzo, which is kind of part for the course on this map in particular. I definitely tend to go it, although there is argument for the auto attack, as if you can get that stacked up, then you're not reliant on your on this ability here to get all of your burn down, as that can somewhat be difficult in certain situations. But you know, everybody has a different view on how they want to handle it, and Diva's mech does go down yet again. This one time is not proccing a bomb. And ETC is super low. Diva steps up. It actually gets hit by the Condemn, is able to squirrel away right behind the Orphea, and sacrificed for the greater good, as you might say in that situation. Orphea goes down. And this looks to be another Immortal going to the side of Painfully Average. So Painfully Average just being able to hit all of the points very well. They're getting camps, they're getting pushed, they're finding kills. And those are the kinds of things that you want to see in this match. Let's pop up the damage totals again. Hanzo doing a really good job with that 22,000. I mean, if you're hitting the scatter arrows, it's going to be doing a lot of damage. And that's why it's not a bad talent by any means. And on this map in particular, there's lots of areas to be able to bounce those things around. So we're going to see 10s come in. I might as well pop up the talents again so we can see the ultimates. We have Blessed Shield, Dragon Arrow, Angelic Armaments, Wave of Force, and Jugs, which is, of course, mostly the standard talents that I think you'd see. This one is somewhat kind of played with one way or the other, and you can sometimes see Injurious. We do see a double mosh pit, but it gets immediately interrupted, but it is enough to be able to secure the kill onto Lily. Lily goes down, and that's going to be Bunny Hop off of on the Diva, looking at and Divine Storm. So Bunny Hop, Divine Storm, I think we have Mosh Pit, which we also saw Hyperion, as well as Eternal Feast. You know, Eternal Feast, Hyperion is pretty good into, like, Divine Storm, Mosh Pit. If you can get the full duration out of those 2 things, plus the Bunny Hop, you can pretty much secure a significant amount of damage out of those combinations. So definitely seeing a bit of wombo. Long cooldowns, but wombo. And that can be very impactful in fights, and as we see, they're the first 2 kills coming out. Now, Imperius being a little bit out of position, I think, is going to try to peel himself out, but I think it's going to be a little bit too difficult for him to do so. And yeah, he's just going to die. So now we're even in kills, almost even in experience. The only thing that we see a significant lead from Painfully Average in this game is actually Structures, as they've won 2 Immortals, taken 2 forts with those Immortals. And that's going to be a, you know, still a bit of a significant advantage here, as the next Immortal, if they happen to win it, is probably going to net them a keep, or at least put a lot of pressure onto a keep wall. This camp's being cleared out. These casual camps you can't really sleep on anymore. They do quite a bit of damage, siege damage now, more so than actually siege giants, which is a nice little switch up on how those camps tend to work these days, and something that I enjoy quite a bit. I always felt like the casual camps, the goats just don't do enough to really limit or warrant a huge significant threat. You can almost ignore them in a lot of situations outside of needing the soak in those off lanes. And as you can see, the experience is pretty much evened up. So ProBus is doing a pretty good job kind of stalling this out to the late game. They haven't lost keeps yet, so they're still in an okay spot. If they win themselves an Immortal, they got lots of tools in which to push with. I mean, Hyperion is fantastic on the siege. And Raynor just in general is quite good at pushing down structures. A little bit more so than Hanzo, not more so than Li Ming, I would say. But Li Ming is better than Orphea, so it kind of balances out. Both teams actually have significant push on both sides. But Diva's not too bad. She's got good siege. And a bit of an unfortunate spawn here for the side of ProBus is It goes to opposite sides, but they are not actually postured and ready to burn this down. So we're actually going to see a significant lead coming up from Painfully Average, and they're going to get another halftime show. But we see a nice stun coming onto Hung Fu. He's going to have to move himself back. Tung Fu, I need to say that properly. And there is a two-man mosh pit into Turtle Feast, but it is ETC that dies first. But Sage and Dragon 478 are super low, but so is Diva Mech. That stun almost coming in. Nice Blessed Shield. Goes into the kill onto Raynor. Desmerd gets hit by the Immortal Stun, and that's going to be another kill. So 3 for 1 so far. Willio's trying to back himself out. He does have the ability to combo a few of these heroes, maybe get the low health targets down, but he misses the second Q. And that does not allow him to get it. But Diva is actually removed. The mech went down, and then Diva went down, and that's a 4-for-0 trade for Painfully Average. And just when it comes down to these Immortal fights, they're just getting all the victory. And this Bruiser Camp takes out the bottom wall. Where is this Immortal going? As there's pressure in both lanes. Well, the top wall's still standing, so that's where it's going to go. But they really have to clear this out. This could actually put damage onto... This is a huge wave. And ETC without Echo Pedal... I mean, he can clear this with a Power Slide W and just blow it up with the Pinball Wizard. I'm not entirely certain why he hasn't done that yet. So we're going to see the two damage dealers from ProBus actually step up into this lane. And they're going to do nothing and have to back up behind the wall. So there goes the wall with the first shot from the Immortal. This thing has a full shield almost. So we're going to see an engagement. There goes the Diva Bomb. Sage has Angelic Armaments up, so it's not going to do any significant damage to him. In fact, not enough to kill the shield, so he gets the proc on the swords. The swords go down. They hit ETC. He drops low. Willios is almost about to go down. Johanna finishes the kill. Divine Storm onto 3 targets, trying to find a kill onto Lily, but Jugs comes out right afterwards. No stuns remaining. 3 kills. And this is a really high health Immortal, so I am actually concerned that this might be the end of the game here. And in fact, if Jadgermancer or Hufflepuffin go down there, there is no hope left. And this is just a super healthy Immortal at 13 minutes into the game. And with Raynor dropping dead, I'm not entirely certain what his goal was there. Diva's going to drop. We see ETC, the respawn timers are short, but I mean, this is just going to be the end of the game here. That's going to be game number 1 for you. Painfully Average. Congratulations, doing their best to secure the victory here. And they just had significant control over the game all the way through. They did a really good job of making sure that all of the everything went went their way. And Imperius is the only thing that really got caught out consistently. We saw 1 pick on the Lily in the bot lane, and that was pretty much it. Outside of that, the whole thing, it wasn't even the bot lane. I think it was during that one Immortal fight where they went 1 for 4. Yeah, and that was kind of how it worked out. So there's your statistics for the end of the game. Hanzo doing a lot of work, and that is the thing about this map, is if he's allowed to get away with what he needs to in the backline, it tends to be quite significant. There are your talents for the match, and I will pop us to a quick break while I set up the next match for us. We will be right back. welcome back, everybody. We're going to be getting into game number 2. The beauty of replay casts is they can go pretty quickly when you're talking about when you have them all kind of laid out. Again, we don't really know who did the map bans, map picks, whatever. I don't know who's first pick, second pick in this game, so unfortunately have to go through without the draft information. You can probably look that kind of stuff like up on Hero's profile, which, you know what, I should probably start doing. I'm going to try to do that for the next one. But instead of wasting a bunch of time, we're going to go into this matchup. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. That seems like a silly thing for me to do here. To not actually go check it out on Hero's profile. The information is right there. Anyway, self-plug, or not self-plug, plug for NGS, Hero's profile, whatever the hell you want to call it. Here's the overview. Anyways, we're going to be going to Volskaya Foundry. Painful Average taking out game number 1. It'll be interesting to see what we get in game number 2. But let's get right to it. All right, as we zap in here, we have Hung Fu on the Anduin, Aruba on the Rainer, Dragon 478 on the Nubarak, Sage back onto the Imperious and Secret Agent Man, picking up that Li Ming yet again. And on the other side, we actually have Hufflepuffin on the Diva yet once more time. Gingermancer on Vala this time. Willios back on Orphea. Desmerd on the Uther. And Lord Gold playing Arthas. So it's interesting that this draft in particular is so much identical to the first one. This one is not quite the same as they did switch out 3 heroes, but still very similar in kind of how compositions go. I don't know if draft had anything to do with that change up. Maybe ETC was banned this time, maybe Hanzo was banned this time. There could be plenty of reasons on why. Like I said, I think I might actually go look at Hero's profile and see if that stuff is actually updated for the Bugin Squad match that's coming up right after this, so please stay tuned. I'm going to do this all as one video, and then I'm going to split them as highlights, and then I'll export those in for everyone that is going to miss today's afternoon stream. There's only 4 viewers, so I'm not all that surprised. Really, I'm not. It's you know, midday streams on a Tuesday. It's midday for me, early afternoon, starting to get into the evening. Now, these are Eastern teams, so it might still be early enough for them to start kind of coming on sooner rather than later, but we'll see. We'll see if the numbers increase. But at the same time, I'll have these VODs on YouTube, so just either check them out on this channel once I get the highlights set up, or just go right into, just wait for them to be uploaded into YouTube. It will be on YouTube probably a couple hours after I get this, if not even, probably not even that long, after I get the setup. And my YouTube is LD Ziltoid, so YouTube/LD, yeah, youtube.com/LD Ziltoid. Not that hard to find. And you can see all of my recent uploads there. I don't have them put in playlists or anything like that. They will be moved onto the NGS website or playlists if you go to the NGS YouTube channel. Anyways, talking too much and not talking about the game, we can see the first rotation coming out from ProBus onto this objective, but it's a little bit late. I mean, I would say that Painfully Average just showing that they understand the map and are getting their camps out nice and early. They have a slight lead here. Good rotations, but this, I guess it really wasn't a huge lead necessarily, because it just seems like ProBus elected to take this camp instead. Put a little pressure in the top lane. Now, this would be an advantage in my mind, although it looks like they're going to see if they can get a pick onto Sage here. He's overextended, trying to get his the push onto Arthas, but now he's no way he's going to get out of here. Arthas is very good at making sure that immobile targets don't go anywhere. Hell, even mobile targets can sometimes have real problems if they get stuck in range of an Arthas, and that's actually going to be the first pick for ProBus. My bad. Why do I keep saying ProBus? ProBus. Of course, not playing the namesake. Just feels bad, man. Secret Asian Man just throwing out that orb, just checking to see if they were on that, but they don't elect to go for it. I thought it was a little odd, despite having a bit of an advantage there. They didn't want to go for the support camp. So, seeing an interesting little hybrid build. We have Monster Hunter and we have Punishment. I don't know if that's a misclick or just a different hybridized style that this player in particular just chose to go. Despite the kill, though, Painfully Average doing a good job in covering the soak. They're actually caught right back up in experience and, in fact, are slightly ahead. But we do see the first channel as well from Painfully Average, and ProBus is now trying to step up on the point. Both teams still trying to kind of clutch out sevens. But I would say, given the fact that we're still clutching out sevens while channeling 58, 60%, I would give this first objective advantage for Painfully Average over ProBus. Vala finally making the rotation in. See if they can actually get something done here. Diva Mech is gone. And that's a pretty decent placement on that turret. It's not on the shrine where it can kind of get bursted down or AoE'd. And actually it's Lord Gold that's in a lot of trouble. Diva, not in her mech, is an easy target for Raynor. Hind picks her off in the back lane. Does lose the turret. Volov tries to pick it up to save it, but gets hit by an Imperious stun, and that's going to be 3 kills to 1, +2 on the day. In the second game here on Volskaya Foundry for Painfully Average, and much like the first game, we see the first objective going their way. So they're going to do the smart thing here, which is clean up this wave. You want to reduce how many shots you take from these towers onto this onto the protector. As you know, it just doesn't have as much, I guess, beef to it as I feel like it once did. You also want to try to get the glove onto this, and that's a really, but that's an all right play. I like that a whole lot. Abusing the push mechanic, making the Diva not as good, and Diva just standing there trying to burn down the objective, instead gets burned down herself. And I will say that I think Painfully Average got just about everything they wanted out of that, although I will say that Anubarak was definitely a bit too far forward there. Not respecting the damage output. And yeah, it's just not going into Hot Pursuit, going for the Monster Hunter and Punishment. I do think that's going to be a little bit rough on the mana. While Q is not going to cost her any mana, that's going to be nice. This type of build is still mostly about spamming out the auto attacks and W's, but you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if you actually look at the mana output between the two, in the end, the cost reduction is better than the passive gain off of auto attack stacks. I mean, that could be the case. I'm not entirely certain. I've never really put the math together. Painfully Average making it to 10s first. We're going to see Light Bomb, Hyperion, Cocoon, Angelic Armaments, and we're still waiting to see what's going to happen with Li Ming here. I do like the Li Ming and Anubarak pairing. It does mean that they can't not take something like Disintegrate to burn down Cocoons from the other side. So a good play, and we are going to go ahead and get Wave of Force, which I think is just generally the meta pick. Wave of Force gives you some good burst damage and disengage potential. Not a bad pick. So ProBus still getting these nice and early siege camps, just trying to push them through, but no one's pushing with it, so it's just going to start getting cleared out by Li Ming and Anubarak. Meanwhile, we're going to see Raynor and Anduin clearing up their own. That's going to give them slight advantage. These camps, I mean, I can understand wanting to kind of get them on thing, but they're a pretty long cooldown, 3 minutes. Not exactly a short cooldown on those camps. Which my point being is that I like to save these a little bit later for when the objective is up. It gives you a little bit of extra lane pressure to allow you to get advantage. See, the more vision you have here in this area, the better off you are. And by having the wave clear advantage, you generally have better vision. We are going to see a big engagement coming out from Desmerd, and if the Cocoon goes on to Diva, we're going to see Crushing Jaws trying to pick off someone in the backline, but it's going to be Willios dropping to 29 health. But it is Uther eventually who gets kind of left behind during the retreat. Willios gets out, though. Hufflepuffin does lose the mech off of the orb coming in from Li Ming. Gingermets are getting poked down pretty low. Willios is still low. They have no heals left over. Ghost Uther is gone. And so that's just going to be a free support for Painfully Average. And objective is up in 7 seconds. It's not the worst situation, though, I would say, for ProBus. They can definitely mount another assault onto this point. Big Shot, Syndragosa, and Rain of Vengeance are up and available. We're going to have Crushing Jaws available in about 15 seconds. And that's still going to come into place faster than Imperious Angelic Armaments and the Hyperion. So still plenty of tools to get this. And Diva Bomb is now online with... Or sorry, yeah, the bomb is now online with Diva. And knowing this, Painfully Average is going to make a good play. And they're just going to say, hey, you know what? We got our initial channel. Why don't we go Cirque 13, wait for all of our heroics to respawn, grab another turret, and come back in and fight this instead. So that's going to be a cool little advantage that I think we're going to see coming out from Painfully Average. And we'll see. Imperious, though, taking quite a bit of pressure here from the front line, but it doesn't really get his health bar super low. And actually, it's Arthas that is overextended, takes too much tower shots. And that 1v1 from Imperious is still pretty good. Now, generally speaking, I would say Arthas actually has a decent 1v1 into Imperious, but I don't play Imperious enough to really know. And new Imperious could be a bit of a different story. But a well-played Arthas, I think, can generally trade pretty well there. He did go into Q build. As the main tank in this composition, I don't particularly like this. If this was a double support comp, maybe a bit of a different story. I actually probably wouldn't mind Q build. But it's a bit of a weird hybrid Q build too as well with Syndragosa. And Syndragosa can have some great engagement potential, especially good combo into Wombo. But we're not seeing a whole lot of Wombo here to really give Syndragosa the advantage that you're looking for. And we're going to see Diva Bomb go down, and unfortunately going to be kind of wasted. And Arthas, while he's back, is getting super low. Imperious just hunting him down. Nice, though. We're going to get the pick off onto his Secret Asian Man. The front line was more concerned about the Arthas, who gets it actually an effective escape, but Uther does go down, but that's not the worst thing ever, as Uther has the ability to keep healing. Diva Mech is down. Diva's still alive, putting a lot of pressure onto Aruba, but unfortunately Diva dies, and so does Orphea, and Imperious, really kind of being the hero in this little matchup, still continues to stay alive and putting a lot of pressure. And you can see actually the damage numbers are really tight across the board between Raynor, Li Ming, and Imperious. But Imperious not only ahead in the macro, ahead of everyone, which again I don't think is something you generally will say about Imperious, but he's also almost ahead in the DPS department, and significantly more so than anyone on the side of ProBus. And look at the XP difference too. Imperious just off-laning like a boss, doing a significantly better job than either Arthas or Diva. So they're just gonna come out and try to put a bit of damage onto the thing. Everyone swaps out. Imperious and Anduin are now the ones inside the Protector. So they're in full siege at this point. Cocoon comes on to Orphea. Nubrak sees if he can get some follow-up stone. We do see Rain of Vengeance trying to drop onto Raynor in the backline. And now there is the Hyperion getting a lot of backline damage. Lord of Gold dropping super low. That Glove doing a fantastic job again, just making sure that that Diva Bomb does nothing. And they get the pick off onto Orphea, and this top keep is probably going to go down. We still have 41% on the Protector, 15 seconds left, and there's no way this keep is not dropping right here. With 2 kills, I don't really think that you can go core here. But Lord Gold is super low still. So they're going to go for it. They're just going to say, you know what? We're so far ahead in this game. Who cares? Even if we die on this core rush. Good Divine Storm, but unfortunately he dies in the process. Uther heals are going to be up, but only for a short period of time, and then he's going to have to wait the full duration. Syndragosa is dropped onto 4. Light Bomb comes out, lands onto Vala. She does manage to get away, but it is going to be Arthas who drops instead. And I think this is just going to be all she wrote. End of game. There we go. That's going to be game number 2. Painfully Average will be the 2-0 victors in this matchup between them and ProBus in Division D East. There's your talents. And there's your regular numbers. Yeah, I mean, I actually am really impressed with Sage here on this Imperious. He did a fantastic job. Soaked quite a bit of damage. Great self-heals. Fantastic. I mean, he outdid Li Ming in both macro and in hero damage, and was keeping pace in hero damage with Raynor, and did, again, out-macroed him with the overall better siege damage. Now, I think a part of that is being inside the Protector. So, I will actually admit that that's probably one of the reasons why we saw what happened here. And then, again, there's our talents, and that's going to be it for this match. Let's put you guys to a break. We will be back again with Bugin Squad versus Bancho.